Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to create games. It's something I always dreamed of as a kid, and it's kind of been my latest hobby that I've been getting into. Yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to do this forever. Making games has been a lot of fun and kind of has just been my hobby for the last few months. But, I don't really have a background in any of this stuff and I'm not really good at it. So I need to learn. And that's exactly what this is. My goal this year is to just kind of make a bunch of prototypes and honestly just to learn. If they're not complete, then that's fine. I'm here to just learn and I want to get my skills up so I can be able to complete my dream game in the future. For now, I'm just making prototypes. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to walk you through my steps of me making this prototype. I made it in about 10 days. At least that's what my notes say. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but it was a fun 10 days nonetheless. So starting off with day one, I had to get my mind and I had to get my project in place. So I'm kind of just setting up Unity to be able to use everything. But my idea was I was going to make a mobile card game. I wanted it to be sort of simple. I was going for like rock, paper, scissors, shoot, but with a twist to it. I wanted to make it mobile and not to be spoiler alerts, but we ended up changing it to PC just because I have an iPhone and a Windows computer, and I think my idea in this point in the stage was, oh, maybe I can like publish this later on. And it's just not very friendly to publish it to an iOS store without a Mac. And it was a big headache. So I ended up switching it to PC later on. But for the first day, I spent a lot of my time actually getting the cards movable with your finger, which was actually pretty fun. And I learned a lot about making games from mobile. So if that's ever something I want to do in the future, I can definitely do it. Now, as I just mentioned, my day two was pretty much me just setting up everything back for PC. I didn't record any of this stuff. I was away working on a laptop. I only have one more day where I don't record things, but most of it is recorded. Day three was kind of me. I just want to like set up my basic foundation of code and how I want things to go. So I spent a lot of today just kind of going through like my phases and the different game phases that it's going to go through, like action phases, drawing the cards, round start, stuff like that. I'm compiling it into a round manager on the project. And I think this is going to be like my main source of keeping the clock going. I have like a lot of ideas going through my head in this like part of the stage. And I did have a Millaboard, not a Millaboard. I had a Millinote board set up and I was kind of just keeping track of the whole project over there. I learned a lot throughout this project, a lot about organization. And I think I've learned a lot about how I want to continue with these projects in the future and how to organize them. Millinote's really good. I don't know if it's good for like specific tasks and like getting parts of the project complete. But for now it works great and I honestly really like it. If you guys ever need like an organizational tool, Millinote is a wonderful tool and I really recommend it. But for the rest of this day, I kind of was just getting like the logic moving and things flowing with the cards. And then I also, at the end of the day, decided I was gonna do some little artwork. Again, like I said, I'm learning on all of this, the art aspect included. So I had this idea of kind of going down this like 2D hand-drawn route, but we kind of run into some hiccups down the road with that. So I'll save that for a little bit. So for day four, I actually don't have any recording, and it's a little unfortunate because this was probably one of my best breakthrough days in terms of coding. I set up a GitHub so I can save all this stuff on the line and be safe with it. And I'm trying to like make better practice decisions. Like I'm learning and I learned this is something you should do. So I decided to do it and it made it easy for me to move in between my laptop and my at-home computer. So that was the main point. But I also did a lot of coding and I coded most of the logic for like the deck and like the shuffling the cards, getting your card, knowing what card it is. I did a lot of that and that was kind of like my breakthrough coding moment. I felt really accomplished. And it all worked really well. I think I only had to change up like a few things towards like the end of the game just to make sure it all worked well and there was no bugs. So I was very happy with it. It actually like was a huge motivational I don't want to say ego booster, but it made me feel better about myself. That's for sure. All right, so we're coming on to day 5 and I'm gonna be honest, I'm really not liking how everything's looking. I'm not a very good hand drawer and I don't think I ever will be. It's just not something I'm really not very passionate about it. I think hand drawn stuff is beautiful, and I've been just adoring everything I see on Pinterest. I just can't draw it, and that's fine. You don't have to draw everything. You don't have to be an amazing artist. I think in the future I do want to get into the 3D realm, so I'll leave that for a different day. But for this day, we're going with pixel art. Pixel art is just kind of something I can like pick up very easily. Pixel art isn't like an easy thing to do. I think, at least in my head, pixel art is easier to pick up but harder to master. It's definitely like some of the pixel art stuff that people make is just beautiful. I will never make anything that nice unless I put a lot of time into it, maybe then one day. But for now, this will get the job done. Most of this came up with me not being able to draw like backgrounds and people, like the opponent of who you're gonna play rock, paper, scissors against. So I went down pixel art, and even in pixel art I was like, well, I don't know how to draw a person, so I'm gonna save that for another day. But this is pretty much, I spent the day just changing over a lot of the art, getting some of the art set up. I just wanted to be able to see it, kind of get a grasp for it. I know this probably isn't the best functionality, like focusing on the art first before you get the core prototype of your game down. But like I said, this is just a prototype and I'm trying to learn both things. So it's fun for me to just go in between the two of them for now. All right, so day 6. I actually didn't have a lot of time to work today. I don't have too much recorded for this. I was able to work on where the cards are spawning in. So now I have them spawning in certain locations and they're set up for that. I also added in the art for the cards. So now you can kind of see how everything looks. And then finally I went through and I started adding the health for the character and like the win condition. I just wanted to get the UI set up a little bit so I can add in the code later on. All right, day 7. Yeah, day 7 is another big art day. This was the day where I just sat down and said, I'm just gonna do it. I need to sit here and I need to make the art for the game, or else it's not gonna get done. So I went through a few ideas of what this whole background, where it's gonna be placed. At first I was like, it's gonna be a dungeon, similar to that one game that came out where you, in my head, it's like Russian roulette in a dungeon against a black shadow thing. I don't know. I'll put a picture to it in the video. But I had that idea as like kind of a background. So I was going for this like dungeon type villain area, but I didn't really like the dungeon. The dungeon was feeling a little weird. I wasn't feeling very confident after I made my first rendition of it. I started going with like stone bricks. It didn't feel right, so we scrapped it. And then I went for just a classic like bedroom. I think the bedroom kind of came out nice. I mean, I'm not complaining with it. It's not bad. I added like a nice little window and everything, and we still have an opponent to make, but we'll save that for another day. I spent like the rest of this day just doing some more code, making sure the game phases work as they should. I still have to code it because it's not completed yet. I mean, I think that was like a decent day. We made some decent progress. I made a lot of progress on today. So I had a few bugs. I've been having a lot of bugs through this project, and actually they've been a headache. I don't like dealing with bugs. I mean, no one does, but I find it particularly unenjoyable. So I spent a lot of the day kind of dealing with the bugs, but I ended up fixing them and I got the fix around and I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with that. I did also end up working on the opponent game art. So we do have an opponent now. It is a robot. I got some Pinterest inspo for it, and that's kind of what I went for. I'm not very happy with it, honestly. I'm gonna be just brutally honest. I think it looks bad, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay that it looks bad. I kind of am like, I understand that I'm learning. Not everything needs to look nice and perfect, so I'm just gonna let it go. I think it is fine and it does its job. It's a person sitting on the other end of the table, and that's all I needed to do. Now, besides the art and the bug fixing, I added this yellow ring, so like when you pick up the card, it like kind of gives you the idea of like, oh, I should drag the card and put it here. So I did that to kind of like help the player along when you're actually playing it. And I also made the game reset, so now like it will go through the entire phase and it resets, which is huge. I'm so happy. I had some issues with this, but I'm so happy it works now. I also got the scoring system working, so now we have some art for the scoring system, and it'll actually give you points or give you X's if you lose. I have it on a first 5 basis, so for every win you get, it gives you a green checkpoint, and every loss you get, it gives you a red X. And that was pretty much all we did for day 8. So finally, this is the last day of me working on my prototype. I gave myself a month to do this, and we're on day 9. So obviously I did it way before a month. I have been taking off the weekends, so I think this actually took me like maybe 3 to 2 weeks. I'm not exactly sure, but it took me 9 days, and I'm taking the weekends off. But let's get down to my final day of this project. So today I did something that I've never done before. I made a song for the game. I'm not a musician at all, so this is my first time ever touching a song making software. I made a song and then I throw it into the game, and I kind of actually like how it sounds. I don't think it fits the vibe necessarily. I feel like the bedroom vibe is like kind of like fun, chilling out in a bedroom like with some friends. Well, you're playing against a robot, so like you're like chilling in your bedroom. This feels almost like Papers, Please Russian vibes. I like kind of slow down the tempo a little bit in the song, but I don't know. It's a very interesting song. I don't know. I also decided I was going to make all the main menus and the final scenes for when you lose or if you win. And that's really all we did today. So this is my completed prototype, and I'm so happy it's done. I'm going to be putting this up in itch.io. It's obviously just a prototype. It's nothing special. What I'm very happy about is that I had a lot more plans for this game, and I coded it in a way that it's very easy to implement for myself later on. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I think I'm done with this project, but I'm just happy with the feat that I have accomplished and that I've created this prototype. I'm very happy with it. I'm going to put it up on itch if you want to give it a try. It's really something simple. It honestly took me a lot longer, and I overcomplicated it way more than it had to be. But if you want to give it a try, I'll have a link to it in the description. And yeah, this is my journey of me trying to learn games. If you guys like the journey, if you want to support in any way, let me know. I appreciate it. All right. See you next month. Bye.